Ireland 41 years ago. We had 10 white ladies who worked in a grocery store, and they said, we refuse to sell grapefruits imported from South Africa anymore in this grocery store, and by doing that, we're going to help end apartheid. Who's with us? And the whole of Ireland went, we don't really like grapefruits, to be honest. More of a luxury product. And I don't know if you've looked outside, but we don't have any black people either, so best of luck with that strategy. To be honest, not a whole lot of people support them. You remember 1 or 2 politicians, but for the most part, the police were against them, the trade unions were against them, gun stores, the grocery store they worked in was against them, and just a lot of the country. And they were delighted one day when this black fella called Nimrod showed up, and they were like, oh, must be working. I've never seen a black guy before, and there's one out there right now, so we're having an impact. These ladies had never met a black person before, despite protesting on behalf of their rights. And this guy, Nimrod, said to them, ladies, what you're doing is so potentially impactful. I can't even really properly vocalize it, so I'm just going to stand with you every single day in solidarity until people pay attention. And he stood with them every single day for 6 months, walking 3 miles each way to get there with the ladies. And no one paid much attention at all, to be honest, until it made its way to a rather interesting man, Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Yeah. On his way to pick up his Nobel Peace Prize, was like, I got to meet the grapefruit ladies. And he did. He flew them over to meet with him in London. And because of that, a rather interesting guy in America got wind of it. And he said, I've never heard of a bunch of white people protesting something that affects them so little. This is fantastic. I have to march with these grapefruit ladies. That was Reverend Jesse Jackson, and he did march with the grapefruit ladies. That was enough to get the attention of a guy on his long walk to freedom on Robben Island, South Africa. And he said, once in a while, you hear other people fighting on behalf of you, and it just really inspires you to keep going. I have to meet with these grapefruit ladies. That was Nelson Mandela. And in 1990, he flew to Ireland to meet with the grapefruit ladies. And by that stage, the Irish government had given in, the trade unions gave in, the grocery store, done stores gave in, and Ireland became the first country in the Western world to ban the import and sale of all goods from South Africa, thereby helping end apartheid with a fruit that we don't feckin' like. For me, it's a lovely bit of history that all too often gets forgotten. But Nelson Mandela never forgot. When he passed away, he made sure that the ladies were invited guests of honor at his funeral, should they wish to attend. And they did attend in a free South Africa that they helped create. And it was only around that time Nimrod, the one black guy who showed up to the protest in Dublin, got around to telling them who he actually was. He'd been Nelson Mandela's cellmate on Robben Island. Oh yeah, he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew Irish people liked speaking up for other oppressed groups. He knew we loved the hip-hop, thought we were a little bit black. And I tell you that story because the leader of those 10 white ladies was called Karen, so you never know.